The observation deck of the Galactic Council's flagship Harmonious Accord fell silent as the security footage played for the third time. Every ambassador present Vryn with their crystalline carapaces, Thalkar warriors whose ancestors had conquered 100 worlds, even the ethereal Luminae who existed partially out of phase watched with the same expression of stunned disbelief. On the screen, a human female approached a Coraxian death beast with nothing but her bare hands extended. "Madness," hissed Ambassador Vrex, his mandibles clicking in agitation. The human should have been torn apart in seconds, but she wasn't. The incident had occurred 3 planetary rotations ago on Sanctuary Station, a neutral waypoint where species from across known space conducted diplomatic exchanges. Ilara Wynn, a human xenobiologist assigned to the station's research division, had been conducting her routine rounds through the quarantine sectors when the containment failure occurred. The Coraxian cub, though cub was a generous term for a creature that stood shoulder height to most sentients and possessed fangs designed to shear through combat armor, had escaped from its holding cell. Corin, as the handlers had named it, was the offspring of apex predators from a death world that made even the Thalkar homeworld seem hospitable. The species had evolved in an environment so hostile that they were born combat-ready, instincts honed to kill or be killed from their first breath. Station security had immediately sealed the sector. Protocol dictated a tranquilizer deployment team, specialized containment units, and, if necessary, lethal force authorization. The Coraxian government had been notified. Everyone understood the gravity of the situation. A panicked predator in confined space was a recipe for catastrophe. Everyone except Ilara Wynn. The footage showed her entering the corridor alone, ignoring the frantic communications buzzing through her wrist terminal. She moved with deliberate slowness, her posture relaxed, unthreatening. Corin crouched at the far end of the passage, lips peeled back to reveal rows of serrated teeth, a low growl rumbling from its chest that registered on seismic sensors 3 decks away. "She should have run," murmured the Luminae observer. Self-preservation is universal, but Ilara didn't run. She knelt. The human lowered herself to the creature's eye level, making herself smaller, vulnerable. She extended one hand, palm up, and waited. The gesture meant nothing to Corin. Coraxian communication relied on pheromones and subsonic frequencies, not primate body language. The cub's growl intensified. It took a step forward, muscles coiling beneath scarred hide. Then it struck. The movement was lightning fast, a blur of predatory efficiency. Corin's jaws snapped shut millimeters from Ilara's extended fingers, the crack of teeth meeting echoing through the corridor. Any rational being would have jerked back, triggered the fight-or-flight response hardwired into survival instinct. Ilara Wynn didn't flinch. Instead, she did something that made no tactical, biological, or evolutionary sense. She reached forward with her other hand and placed it gently on the creature's head, between its eyes, where the bone plates met. Her fingers traced the ridge of its skull with a touch so gentle it wouldn't have disturbed a butterfly's wing. "Easy," her voice came through the audio feed, barely a whisper. "Easy now, beautiful. You're scared." I know. The words were irrelevant. Corin possessed no translator implant, no understanding of human language. But something in the tone, the cadence, the absolute absence of fear, penetrated deeper than words. The cub's growl faltered. Its haunches remained tense, ready to strike, but confusion flickered in its 6 eyes. Ilara continued her gentle stroking, her movements rhythmic, predictable. She began to hum a low, melodic sound that humans used to soothe their own young. The vibration seemed to resonate with something primal in Corin's brain, something that predated language and logic. Minutes passed. The security teams held position, weapons trained but orders held. The entire station seemed to hold its breath. Then, impossible as it seemed, the death beast's posture began to shift. The rigid tension bled from its muscles. Its eyes, moments ago wild with panic and predatory rage, began to focus with something approaching curiosity. The growl that had promised violence transformed, dropping in pitch, becoming something else entirely. A rumble, deep, resonant, almost dot-dot-dontent. Ilara smiled. "There you are," she whispered. "There's the brave one." She continued her ministrations, and Karen, the creature that had been designed by evolution to be the ultimate killing machine, leaned into her touch. Its massive head, capable of crushing Duralloy with its bite, rested against her palm with a gentleness that defied everything the assembled ambassadors knew about the universe. How? The question came from Ambassador Vrex, watching the footage conclude with Ilara calmly leading the now docile Corin back to its containment unit. How is this possible? The human representative to the council, Ambassador Chun, allowed himself a small smile. You're asking the wrong question, Ambassador. You want to know how she survived. But what you should be asking is why she didn't hesitate in the first place. Explain, demanded the Thulkar war chief. Humans come from Earth, Chun said simply. A world that shouldn't have produced sapient life according to your models. Too many apex predators, too many environmental hazards, too unstable. But we didn't just survive Earth, we domesticated it. We took wolves that hunted our ancestors and turned them into companions. We made allies of creatures that should have been our doom. He gestured to the frozen image of Ilara, her hand resting on Corin's lowered head. Ilara Wynn didn't see a death beast. She saw a frightened child, lost and alone, lashing out because it knew no other way. And she did what humans have done for 40,000 years. She extended her hand. Despite the danger, because empathy is our most powerful survival trait, the council chamber remained silent. We don't survive by being the strongest or the fastest, Chun continued. We survive by making friends out of monsters. Even when those monsters snap at our hands, we stroke their heads until they rumble.